No, absolutely no one was shocked yesterday when the new 5+7 college football playoff format was approved. And we're going to break down exactly how that works in a second. But when it comes to where independent Notre Dame fits in all of this, the honest answer is they got one of the best spots imaginable. Now, since every other conference has to play a conference championship game, remember the winner of the conference championship game gets an automatic qualification into the college football playoff. Not a guaranteed seed, but an automatic 1 through 4 seed, but an automatic qualification. If Notre Dame gets one of those at-large spots, one of the 7, they conveniently get an automatic bye since there's no conference championship game for them to play in. Now, I do understand that is the reasoning behind the rule that prevents Notre Dame from getting a 1 through 4 seed, like I mentioned, because in that case, they would actually get back-to-back byes. No conference championship game, no first round game, you can't let them have that. But still, even though they can't get the 1 through 4 seed, it's a pretty damn good deal. Everyone else has to win the regular season and the conference championship game to automatically be in. Now, all Notre Dame has to do is win the regular season, and they're a huge brand that brings in a lot of money and travels really well. If there's a chance for them to get in, they're going to get them in. Now, that's a win for the Fighting Irish, we all know. And as long as it stays this way, which it probably won't, I don't see them having to jump into a conference anytime soon, especially since they're the prettiest girl left at the dance as far as teams conferences want the most. And they just so happen to have a big checkbook with that NBC money hanging out. So count yesterday as a big win for college football, but an even bigger win for Notre Dame. I'm going to bring in my co-host, former Michigan quarterback David Cohn, my brother, former Western State Colorado wide receiver Blaine Crane. Guys, I want to get into exactly how the format works, where the games are played, when they're played, how the seeding works, and who plays who from a seeding standpoint. But if you're Notre Dame, this does nothing to push me toward joining a conference because, again, you've almost got that bye automatically worked in if you get that at-large spot. So it's even Stevens.
Yes. I mean, Notre Dame would obviously love an opportunity to compete for a bye, but they're in a better spot than they were because with only 4 playoff spots, we often said Notre Dame really has to go undefeated or lose no more than 1 game to be able to make one of those 4 spots because they don't have the benefit of playing in that conference championship game. And when we look at games last year, like Georgia versus Alabama, that was a playoff game.
Yep.
You know, Michigan versus Ohio, that was a playoff game. The loser of those games knew, hey, it's going to be very difficult this year to make it in. Notre Dame didn't have to go through that. So this with a 12-team playoff, it does make sense. Like, hey, you're not having to play in that conference championship game. That is essentially a bye, and that's just, you know, the way it's going to work out for not being in a conference for Notre Dame. But here's what I found really interesting when reading over this, and it is exciting that this has been officially approved because this was one of the first things you and I ever talked about when we met, and you were one of the first people I ever heard talk about how an expanded playoff would actually increase parity throughout college football. Mm-hmm. And I think that we're going to see that. A couple things, the conference winners getting the byes, I think is very interesting because some people are going to be upset that if you have an upset in a conference championship, that the winner of that conference isn't as good as the 3rd or 4th best team from another conference. And that may be true, but it's an objective metric that we desperately need in college football. And we see it in NFL all the time. And that's the best way to go about it. So I'm excited about that. The home field advantage for these teams to be able to bring college football playoff games to their campus, that's awesome. That's incredible. And you were telling me it's not even just home field advantage. You could technically
they could pick where they want to play,
where you wanted to play. So, hey, Lambeau Field, maybe, you know, in the cold. I don't know what's going to happen. That's crazy. I'm still not huge on these group of 5 teams, which I think that phrase is going to go away soon, the group of 5. But I'm not big on them having an automatic spot in these playoffs. I would rather the group of 5 teams have their own playoff and their own championship. I mean, imagine getting to see South Alabama and Georgia Southern and Appalachian State and all these great teams in their own playoff scenario. But if we're not going to get that, then it seems that 1 spot out of 12 teams is acceptable. And then another thing that I thought was interesting, which you and I have talked about a bunch, is now this part of it is not official, but the board of managers is close to eliminating the bowl tie-ins. that
The
go
New Year's Six,
the New
right?
Year's Six
Yes.
Bowl. So when those contract ends, which those won't end for 2 more years, so this upcoming season and the next season, we still will have bowl tie-ins with the Rose Bowl and the Big Ten, Sugar Bowl,
the
SEC.
yeah.
But moving forward, it sounds like all of those bowls are on board to help the new playoff format the best they can.
Definitely. Blaine, one thing, too, that I want people to understand is you may not, if you're Notre Dame, that obviously you think of a bye and you think of health, right? It's another week to get healthy, that you're not having to go out there and play a game when other teams are having to play a game, and that's big. But from a scouting standpoint, by the time we get down to that point in time, to the conference championship game week, you're going to have a pretty good idea if you're Notre Dame, if you're going to make the playoff, where you're probably going to be seated, and maybe the couple teams that you're going to play against. And if one of those teams happens to play in a conference championship game, you get an extra week of film. You get an extra week, basically, of prep, having an idea of who you're going to play. So it's an all-encompassing win. It's not just a health thing.
No, I mean, any way you kind of look at this from a Notre Dame situation, it checks a lot of good boxes if you're Notre Dame. Why would you join a conference at this point? You have no reason to. I wouldn't. Stay out of it, but we'll find a way. So Notre Dame won't be able to technically host 1 through 4, correct?
No. So they won't be able to be a 1 through 4 seed, not because the 1 through 4 seeds don't host. So this is how. Let's just go over the nuts and bolts of it real quick. Obviously, there's 12 teams.
Mm-hmm.
You have 5 teams that if they win their conference championship game, so the Power 4, so SEC, Big 12, Big 10, and ACC, you got to win your conference championship game to get that automatic qualifying spot. This isn't basketball. This isn't baseball. There's not a regular season winner and then a tournament to see who, because in basketball, if you win the tournament, you automatically get a bid. Now, you could have a team that wins the conference championship game that let's say was 9-3 before that, going up against a team that was 12-0 or 11-1, and the winner of the Big 12, that doesn't guarantee you get a 1 through 5 seed. You could end up being an 8 seed, but you automatically have to be in there because you won your conference.
Is that true?
Yes.
Because it says here in the approved format, the 4 highest ranked conference champions earn a bye into the quarterfinals.
And well, the way I read it was, because again, that'd be impossible because only 4 teams can get a bye.
Yeah.
So that 5th team, if it's the Mountain West, if it's the Sun Belt, whatever. And again, it could be, you could have a Power 5 team that ends up being the 5 seed. Like
yes,
that could actually
That would have been
happen.
like the Cincinnati year.
Yes.
Yes. Cincinnati got in the 14 playoff, that was a group of 5 teams.
Yeah, but my question, and maybe this is something we can look deeper into, is if you're a team that is 9-3 and you win the ACC championship or whatever, I don't believe that guarantees you a 1 through 4 seed. I think it is literally seeded based on how the teams finish throughout the conference championship game. I believe, and I may be wrong here, the conference championship winner, you're guaranteed a spot in there. Just like in college basketball, you may not win the regular season in college basketball, but if you win the tournament, that doesn't mean you get to be a 1 seed in the NCAA basketball tournament. That means you get to play in the NCAA basketball tournament.
Well, it says here in the approved format, the 4 highest ranked conference champions earn a bye.
Okay, so that'll be your 1 through 4 of the...
which is just like the NFL.
Just like the NFL, correct. Yes. So,
but there's no reseeding, which is different than the NFL.
Yes,
so
that's
can you
where the
explain
difference
that? That's like March Madness.
So basically, if you take 1 through 4, that gets the bye, because 1 through 4 gets the bye, right? And then 5 through 12 plays in the first round. And the higher seed or the team that is ranked better, that's the best way to put it, gets to host that game. So the 5 seed plays the 12 seed, the 6 seed plays the 11 seed, the 7 seed plays the 10 seed, and the 8 seed plays the 9 seed. Obviously, the 5th seed would host the game, the 6th seed would host the game, the 7th seed would host the game, and the 8th seed would host the game. Now, the winner of the 8-9 game plays the 1 seed, right? The winner of the 7-10 game plays the 2 seed. 6-11 seed winner plays the 3 seed, and the 4 seed plays the winner of 5-12, which is just like the NCAA tournament does in their bracket. There's no reseeding. There's no, there was an upset in the 5-12 game. Now we're going to reseed it and you don't know who you're playing until the other games work out. No, that's not how it works. The bracket's already set, which I like. I think that's the
I
best
like
way
it
to
too,
do
actually.
right?
Because that way you know you're headed for a matchup with one of these two teams.
Yes.
Either way.
That's exactly
Now,
right.
if you're the number one overall seed, yeah, you may not get to play the worst team left in the field, which would be the 12 if they upset the 5, but you know you're going to either play the 8 or the 9 seed, and you just move on and play them.
Yeah. So 1 through 4 seeds, you don't get to host a game. You get a bye, and then it's played on a neutral site. If you have to play that first round, then the better ranked team gets to host that game, or choose if they want to play it, like David said, if they want to play it at the Bad News Bears Stadium, they can if they want. So I like it. I think I thought 8 was the perfect number, right? Because I knew it was going to keep growing. They want to triple the already double profits. But if you're going to have a 12-team format, I think this 5+7 is the best way to go. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Thanks for stopping by. Hit that subscribe button. Because look, you're already here, right? You walk to the house, you might as well ring the doorbell and see if somebody's home. We appreciate it.